Yeah, I understand that the start of the video is kind of strange, but I'll tell you how this lady actually led to the nearly collapse of the Russian Air Force. Let's go. The name of the girl is Maria Shalaeva. She calls herself Marusa. Marusa has, well, more or less popular Instagram page, but her recent upload shocked that community and entire Russian Air Force. So what is that in this lady which led to this almost disaster for the Russian command of the Air Force? Well, I guess you might understand that some of the high Russian officials, they like those beautiful girls, and also they like to ride those girls on military jets. So this is the Instagram reel, the video which Marusa published a couple of days ago. Let's watch it. So who says that the airplanes are not flying to Rostov? Rostov is the Russian city, not far away from Ukraine actually, that's why the commercial airfield was closed. But somehow she went to Rostov on military freaking huge airplane, Ilyushin-76, 4-engine airplane, which took her there to Rostov for a very important mission, and she'll disclose it over here in the video. She says that not everyone can go to Rostov, saying that she's some sort of the special girl out there. She also took her son there. The son is quite young, 3 years old. She said that she has a friend, some sort of the reliable Kremlin person. Here we have the portrait of Belousov, so this reliable Kremlin person should be some of the high-rank Russian military official if he has this portrait. Very interesting situation, isn't it? She said that she likes Tupolev more than Ilyushin-76 because it is more comfortable. Yeah. She said that they were met quite well. I would say it's a fancy car out here. What is this? Aurus, Mercedes-Benz or Maybach? But it's not the usual car, I would say 100%. So she went to the Pierce restaurant together with her son probably and her lover. And later on she went to the dance club, it's called Magadan. She said that her relations with her guy are not constant, they meet, they disappear, they again meet. But the thing that she published the information openly on Instagram that she went to Rostov, not for some sort of the security or safety mission, not because she needed some sort of the medical help and only Rostov hospital may give it to her or to her son. No, she went there just to have a dinner in a restaurant and dance in a local club, or maybe not even dance, but to have a good time with alcohol and her lover. So by the time the Russian soldiers are out there in the trenches with almost no supplies, with no water, food and ammunition, the Russian military works to deliver horse, not animals, horse, but let's say sluts out there to Rostov for them to have fun. This is brilliantly outstanding, but we are not even close to the main thing, so bear with me, because the situation evolves very bad for the entire Russian Air Force because of this case. Russians in the comments towards this video are quite concerned. Interesting how fast you may delete your page, and actually she restricted her page. I say that she will be in next video of Navalny. Navalny is KA, as we know. How we can post this compromising information? What's the nonsense is happening out there? Who agreed on that? It means who in the Russian military command agreed on this travel of the girl to Rostov. And yeah, this is her page on Instagram. She already became kind of famous and she restricted, so this account is private. I sent my request just maybe to see some of her videos, obviously from the Russian airplanes. What do you think I want to see there? Plus, she has the Telegram channel, which is unfortunately restricted. So it's like fun for us to discuss this stuff, but Russian military command, they're not laughing at all. I want to read out the story which was published today by the fighter bomber, the Z channel affiliated with the Russian Air Force, and he says the things as they are. It is the total shitstorm in the Russian Air Force command, inspired by Madame Shalaeva video, keeping gaining momentum. Judging by the chaos it created, it feels like this event has already surpassed Rus landing on a Red Square during the Soviet times. And the lady on the plane basically blew up, the very least, the foundations of the national security. The heads of two agencies are now scrambling to push their subordinates, and the circle of blame is getting wider and wider. So there are now inspections, checks, some of people even got arrested, including the crew members of the flight which was filmed. The military personnel, airfield authorities, everyone is under suspicious of neglectance, let's say. So those boobies created really chaos in the Russian Air Force. And this is the part of the article, guys. It's kind of the long one, so Russians, they don't care about the security, real things of their aircraft. By the time Ukraine performs the spider web operation, no one was really punished, but then this lady publishes the video on TikTok or Instagram. In this case, everything is fucked up. So he said, I'm fucking stunned by what is happening. And this is the fighter bomber, the Russian channel, which usually confirms the Russian aviation losses. So the guy knows what he's speaking about, even though the admin of the channel is complete bastard, but he sometimes say the things as they are. So the case with this lady plays a really good role for Ukraine. Destabilizing the Russian Air Force is a very nice job. Thank you, Marusia. As we witnessed for the last couple of years, because of the significant corruption in the Russian army, Putin is not okay with it and he tries to clear it. He dismissed the Minister of Defense, Shoigu. He even jailed his deputies. They're definitely behind the bars, but it doesn't change the system which was built by Vladimir Putin himself. For the system like that, it's just impossible not to be a corrupt one. It will be like that as far as Putin is Tsar of Russia. Russian generals will take those boobies and booties to fly with them to Rostov and elsewhere. It's okay for Russia. And Putin is unable to do anything with this. My friends, by the way, if you want to support the job that I do here almost every day, you're very welcome to join me on Patreon. I'll put the link for my Patreon page right in the video description below. Thank you so much for your kind support. But if you're unable to support me, if you don't have this opportunity, just press your like to this video, huge like, and subscribe for the channel, because that is how you boost this video in YouTube algorithms. Thank you so much for that as well. So yeah, Marusia helps, but Ukraine may also strike Russian Air Force kind of hard. The Shahid factory was hit by Ukrainian long-range drones. It happened near Moscow. The factory was used to produce MiG-29 and MiG-31 fighters, or maybe even parts, but now used by Russia to produce Shahid drones. For Ukraine, it's very important to eliminate the drone factory, because Russia launches more than 100 drones each night towards Ukraine. So for the last night, they sent almost 600 drones, and just half of those were intercepted by Ukraine, because the Ukrainian air defense has just been overwhelmed. Well, at the same time, Ukraine is using some special drones to hit Shahids in Ukrainian sky. Yes, little by little, Ukraine start to introduce the operation of the Shahid drones interception. Because Ukraine is in lack of the air defense capabilities, it has to come out with new solutions, and solutions are playing very well. It shows the effectiveness. However, still Ukraine needs more funds for production, and that could be covered with the help of the support from Europe first of all, and some of the Ukrainian volunteers. The drones look like this. They fly really fast and really high. About the front lines, well, we have some of the good news coming from the Sumy Oblast of Ukraine. There, Ukraine started a counterattack towards Kindrativka village, and according to the latest information, the Russian forces were encircled in the village by Ukrainian army. So they now try to get out from the place from Kindrativka towards their own positions. Russia here was partially successful, I would say, in the Sumy region. After all, they managed to occupy several of the settlements, but their offensive was stopped, and it's up to Ukraine now to counterattack. Before, Andriivka village was liberated, and now it's time for Kindrativka. I hope that soon we'll have the military map update from many other sources, but for now we have like the positive news coming from here. About the negative news, well, we have the update near Pokrovsk. It seems like we're gonna speak about Pokrovsk more in coming videos because Russia is really now concentrating efforts to gain control over Mirnograd first of all and Pokrovsk. They try to attack from two of the directions. One is from here, the other one is from here. Actually, here we have two of the vectors, one towards Rodinske and the other one towards Mirnograd. And let's go to update. So it was yesterday and it is today. As you may see, Russians moved over here, expanding the gray zone, and also over here. Actually, for the last 48 hours, they put 1, 2, 3 settlements into the gray zone. And here's the road, so potentially they might go further to Rodinske despite kind of the difficult terrain. Plus, if we go to the southwestern part, here Russians moved as well. So yesterday, today, expansion of the gray area, a little bit of red in this place, but not significant, not as before. Still, Russians continue to use their Hunger vehicles for attacks. There were 2 of the BMPs spotted. Ukraine hit them very hard with the drones. The vehicles were stopped. Russian infantry went to the tree line and finished off by drone drops. Usual Ukrainian tactics against those Russian attacks, but nevertheless Russia may push with those strikes, at the same time losing lots of the soldiers. But sometimes Ukraine is on counterattack. Here we have 1 tank T-64 and Butsifal infantry fighting vehicle. They were working in this tree line, pushing Russians really hard. And after all, Russian infantry was again finished by drone drops. We have inspiring news coming from Germany. They really sent new technologies, spare parts and funds for Ukraine to make the production of the long-range missiles possible. Whether Ukraine could develop Taurus missiles, well, we're gonna see very soon, because according to one of the generals of Germany, Ukraine will be capable to use long-range missiles even this month. It seems like Ukraine will obtain way more opportunities to hit Russia really hard behind the front lines, or as many say, deep inside Russia. Zelensky met with Umerov. Umerov is the Ukrainian defense minister. It looks like Umerov will be dismissed. It is no longer a rumor. Zelensky partially told about it himself. It seems like Umerov will be sent across the ocean to be an ambassador of Ukraine in the United States of America, but who will be the next Ukrainian defense minister? We'll see. I would say Ukrainian military system itself requires reforms. Okay, so Russians are using motorcycles, new motorcycles, and the Russian Orthodox Church is spraying some sort of the saint water there on those. Well, sometimes they spray the water even on Russian missiles. That's normal for Russian Christianity. Nevertheless, we see that Russians, they do have lots of the motorcycles coming from China. Yeah, those are the China-made. The Russian Defense Ministry has the contracts with China for supplyment of the China golf carts and those bikes, but the most important for Russia is to obtain drone parts from China and some of the technologies, chips and electronics. But also sometimes they use German technologies in their army. Just look at this. Mercedes-Benz fighting armor vehicle. But where's the armor? Well, it's absent, but it doesn't matter. The main thing that it's marine, as they say, on Mercedes. How does it still run? The German quality. Alright, this is the report from the Russia Today. Francine fled the United States of America for Russia because of racism. Well, actually, it's the story of karma. You'll see everything because escaping USA for Russia because of racism. It's like going to Epstein Island trying to escape pedophiles. Nevertheless, here's her story.
Why did I make up my mind to move to Russia? I wanted to leave a country where I was facing discrimination, racism.
So in Russia, she'll not face discrimination or racism. Even Russian nationals, I mean those from Yakutia, Buryatia, Northern Caucasus, yeah, they face racism if they go to Moscow and St. Petersburg. The same as like European Russians might go to Chechen Republic and face racism over there, or if they go to Yakutia and the same Buryatia. Russia is the multicultural nation, and every nation there is not okay with other one. That's why I predict that Russia has no chance to survive.
No career moves, there's no jobs, and there's so much discrimination.
Okay, discrimination. It was like that. Like the story of the United States is actually dark relative to people from the other countries, especially different race. Yeah, we know the history, but now it's different, right? Even if you compare it to Russia, because in Russia the racism is on a very high level relative to USA, and you'll see next that I'm speaking truth.
Because in Russia, no matter what time it is, I can walk outside and I'm safe.
Bullshit. That's the total bullshit. Try to walk through the park at night in Russia. Try total brainwashed by the Russian propaganda through the Russia Today, and some of the Western consumers, they will see and say, oh yeah, Russia is like a free state for everyone, therefore conservatives for traditional values, at the same time they are multicultural, blah blah blah. So it's all bullshit. Why? Well, because this is the same lady from that propaganda video. She lives in Russia, she obtained a Russian passport even, and her racist neighbors beat the hell out of her, despite her having a very young baby. So escaping USA for Russia doesn't work. Actually, it's the worst decision possible. Sorry guys, I cannot show you her face fully because it was punched by those Russian neighbors who live nearby, who cut electricity for her, who lock her sometimes, and she films the videos asking for help from the public, from Russians who beat her in Russia. That's crazy. That's karma full in action, guys. Not even in a Hollywood revenge movies we see this plot twist as we are witnessing here. But did she receive what she deserved? 100%. Like, if you blame your own country for racism, like the country is racist, and go to Russia, something might not work for you at all. And I predict that in a nearby future she might come back to USA, sharing in some of the TV show her worst experience, writing even some sort of the book and monetize it. Like one of the variants, because she likes money, because it was paid by Russian propaganda 100%. Guess tomorrow is Sunday, so on Monday expect actually good news coming from the United States relative to more sanctions which potentially could be applied on the Russian Federation. Still, I have the hope that there could be some of the change in the American policy towards Ukraine. Well, the good thing that even Zelensky today confirmed that the United States of America restored the support of Ukraine with weaponry. That's tremendous success of Ukrainian diplomacy. But obviously Ukraine needs more, and there could be a new package coming from the current White House administration. It might help Ukraine a lot, especially if we speak about the air defense missiles. Now, my friends, please don't forget to press your huge like to this video. By doing so, you help me a lot. And as usual, I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are, and have a great time.